quiet suburban street. Children ride bicycles, neighbors wave, and a friendly man in clown makeup entertains at birthday parties. To almost everyone around him, John Wayne Gacy seemed like the kind of person every community admired. He ran a successful contracting business, volunteered at charity events, and even met influential politicians. Yet behind the walls of his ordinary brick house in Norwood Park, Illinois, one of America's darkest secrets was slowly growing. The man trusted by an entire neighborhood was living a terrifying double life. By the mid-1970s, Gacy had built the image of the perfect citizen. His construction company employed dozens of young workers, many of them teenagers looking for quick jobs and easy money. He appeared generous, outgoing, and eager to help. Friends described him as charming and funny, someone who could light up a room with conversation. That carefully crafted reputation became his greatest weapon, allowing suspicion to drift far away from his front door. John Gacy's path toward becoming a serial killer did not begin in adulthood. Born in Chicago in 1942, he grew up under the shadow of an abusive father whose constant criticism left lasting emotional scars. Struggling with self-worth and desperate for approval, Gacy learned early how to hide his true feelings behind a convincing public mask. As he grew older, he became increasingly skilled at presenting whatever version of himself others wanted to see. In the 1960s, Gacy married and moved to Iowa, where he quickly became active in civic organizations and local business. People saw ambition and leadership, but beneath that respectable exterior, darker impulses were already emerging. In 1968, he was convicted of sexually assaulting teenage boys. Sentenced to prison, many believed his crimes had been exposed forever. Yet after serving only about 18 months, he was released early for good behavior. That decision would have devastating consequences. Returning to the Chicago area, Gacy rebuilt his reputation with astonishing speed. He launched PDM Contractors, purchased a modest home at 8213 West Summerdale Avenue, and once again surrounded himself with respectability. Neighbors welcomed him. Local officials accepted him. His employees trusted him. Few knew about his criminal past, and even fewer imagined the danger hidden behind his smile. As his business expanded, Gacy often recruited young men through newspaper advertisements or casual conversations. Some were runaways. Others were students, hitchhikers, or employees hopping to earn extra income. He offered work, meals, drinks, or promises of opportunity. For many, accepting his invitation became the last decision they ever made. Investigators later learned that Gacy often used manipulation before violence. He entertained victims with jokes, stories, and tricks, including a pair of handcuffs he called his magic trick. Once someone allowed themselves to be restrained, escape became nearly impossible. What began as laughter quickly transformed into terror. Years passed, but disappearances rarely pointed investigators toward Gacy. Many victims came from vulnerable backgrounds, and missing persons cases during the 1970s often lacked the resources and coordination seen today. Families searched desperately for answers while evidence remained scattered across different jurisdictions. This gap allowed Gacy's crimes to continue far longer than anyone imagined. Inside his home, he concealed horrifying evidence beneath the crawl space under the house. As the number of victims grew, space eventually became limited. Investigators would later determine that additional bodies had been buried elsewhere or discarded in nearby waterways. The contrast was chilling. Above ground, family dinners, holiday gatherings, and neighborhood conversations continued as though nothing was wrong. Beneath the floorboards lay a secret that defied belief. One of the most haunting aspects of the case was Gacy's ability to compartmentalize his life. During the day, he negotiated construction contracts, supervised workers, attended community events, and sometimes performed as Pogo the Clown or Patches the Clown at charitable functions. Although the clown persona was unrelated to his murders, it later became inseparable from his public image, creating one of the most unsettling symbols in American criminal history. As the victim count increased, Gacy became increasingly confident. Confidence, however, often breeds mistakes. In December 1978, 15-year-old Robert Peace disappeared shortly after telling his mother he planned to speak with a contractor about a possible job opportunity. Witnesses identified John Gacy as that contractor. Unlike previous disappearances, investigators aggressively pursued the lead. Detectives began interviewing Gacy repeatedly, searching for inconsistencies in his explanations. During surveillance, officers noticed unusual behavior. Gacy seemed nervous yet overly cooperative. His stories shifted. Detectives also detected a strange odor inside the house, though its source remained uncertain. Bit by bit, the carefully constructed mask that had protected him for years began to crack. A search warrant uncovered suspicious items connected to missing young men. Investigators expanded their efforts, gathering records, interviewing former employees, and comparing evidence from multiple disappearances. The pattern became impossible to ignore. Every new discovery pointed back to the same ordinary-looking home. Realizing authorities were closing in, Gacy drove aimlessly for hours, wrestling with the inevitable collapse of his hidden world. Eventually, exhausted and emotionally unraveling, he confessed that numerous bodies were buried beneath his house. Detectives initially struggled to comprehend the scale of what they were hearing. The excavation that followed stunned even experienced investigators. One after another, human remains emerged from the cramped crawl space. Ultimately, authorities linked John Wayne Gacy to the murders of 33 young men and boys, making him one of the deadliest known serial killers in American history. The discovery transformed a quiet suburban residence into one of the nation's most infamous crime scenes. Identifying every victim proved to be an enormous challenge. Advances in forensic science, including DNA analysis decades later, allowed investigators to restore names to several victims long after the original investigation ended. Even today, the case continues to remind investigators of the importance of modern identification techniques and persistent investigative work. During his trial in 1980, Gacy attempted to portray himself as suffering from multiple personalities and denied full responsibility for the killings. The jury rejected those arguments after hearing overwhelming physical evidence and testimony. He was convicted on multiple counts of murder and sentenced to death. Years later, after exhausting his appeals, John Wayne Gacy was executed in Illinois on May 10, 1994. His death marked the legal end of the case, but not its emotional impact. Families had spent years searching for loved ones, living with unanswered questions that could never truly be erased. The legacy of the Gacy investigation extended far beyond one criminal. Police agencies improved cooperation across jurisdictions. Missing persons investigations became more coordinated. Advances in forensic science, victim identification, and criminal profiling were accelerated by lessons drawn from cases like his. Society also learned a painful truth: evil does not always appear frightening. Sometimes it smiles, shakes your hand, helps build your house, or entertains your children before disappearing back behind an ordinary front door. John Wayne Gacy never looked like the monster people imagined. That was precisely what made him so dangerous. His greatest disguise was not a clown costume or a carefully rehearsed smile. It was the trust he earned from everyone around him. Behind that trusted face existed a hidden reality that remained invisible for years, proving that the most terrifying double lives are often the ones hidden in plain sight.